Have you ever taken a wrong turn and ended up in Poland? Nobody sleeps in the woods tonight. Yeah, is essentially like a wrong turn from Poland. These kids who are addicted to cell phones and to technology are put into this camp where they're going to go out and they're going to explore the wilderness, and this is just going to connect them back with the earth, and they're not going to want to be on those damn devices no more. I don't know if this is a real thing. Do they really have stuff like this? I mean, I know they have wilderness for kids around like drugs and such, but I didn't know they did this for like addictions to cell phones and video games. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. So now this is a straight up, full blown 80s homage slasher film, as I said, from Poland. Although this is in English on Netflix, and their lips look like it was dubbed, but it still looked like they were talking English from what I could tell, but maybe I was like mistaken on that. I don't know. But Netflix had it that way, and I watched it that way, and I know a lot of people are not a big fan of doing that, but I didn't really care because I'm not looking for performances in a movie like this. I'm just looking for tits and blood, kills, a cool villain, and I pretty much got all of those things. I got some great tits. I got some pretty good kills. Now, I think the thing that this film has going for it is that it very much embraces what it is. It's a pretty straightforward slasher film, and it wants very badly to be something like an 80s slasher. That being said, that is also one of its problems, is that I'm getting very, very tired of drawing attention to the whole I know what happens in horror movies, and I'm going to be the Randy from Scream character, and I'm going to talk about it like, here's the deadly sins of a horror movie if we were in a horror movie. Number 1, blah, blah, blah. Number 2, blah, blah, blah. I'm so fucking tired of the self-aware horror bullshit like that. I can't stand it. Anytime it shows up in a film now, I'm just like, it kills that scene for me outright. Of course, this has this, the stereotypical archetypal characters that we've seen in any of these movies, whether it be the jock or the slut or the geek or the pretty ugly weird girl or whatever. As far as the characters go, they're all fine. None of them are great except for the final girl, who I think is pretty badass, and I did like a good amount of the decisions that she made and what she ended up doing. So cool. I dig that. And the characters are okay. The movie runs in at about an hour and like 45. And with a film like this, you don't need that. There's definitely some 10-minute, 15 minutes of film that could be cut here to bring it down to a much pacier, better paced slasher film. But, overall, if you're a big fan of like old school 80s slasher films, and you're looking for something modernized that's like that, this does a pretty good job. I mean, we always ask the question, like, why is it so hard to make a fucking good slasher these days? Like, they made a slew of them in the 80s, like, and there's not a ton going on in any of those. So why is it so hard to achieve? Why is there so few, hatchets or something out there? You get a ton of wannabe slashers, but this film is a little too self-aware, as most of these homages are, with something like references, straight up like line plucking from movies like Aliens. Oh, there's that line. I'm sure you can figure out what it is, but it's like, dude, I get it. You like old movies. I get it, man. You're a fan of the 80s. Me too. Cool. Like, let's talk about it in the comment thread. But instead of putting it into your movie as not even a subtle wink, but a straight up lift, I don't know. It's old to me. Maybe once upon a time I was like, oh shit, like he's referencing something I know. That's cool. I feel like this is inside baseball. No, dude, I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. Another thing with this film is it has a very bizarre score. And when I say bizarre, I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean bizarre choice. Like the music is rarely horror sounding. A lot of the times it sounds like almost some romantic or like dramatic music, and it plays a lot. Like I could see it playing for a comedic effect or maybe an emotional beat or something in like a moment here or there, but it plays so often that I'm like, is this the score for the film? Is this like the choice they put here? Because with some ramped up music, some better choices for the score, I think that this could have been much better. Just from the tenseness and the excitement that music builds in scenes like this. This is why something like Friday the 13th and Halloween works so damn well. Imagine them without their scores. Imagine them without the Carpenter score, without the Manfredini score. They wouldn't be the same films. Imagine if you played some like generic stock, like not even horror sounding music, something you'd get from like, you know, some after school special or something. It's just like, what are you doing with this music? I didn't get the choice there. Now there is some playful stuff in it. It you know, definitely plays around with some comedy. It as I said, it's very self-aware. It's trying to be like a Hatchet. Hatchet's a very similar type of feel here, and with the whole, you know, kids out in camp. And they're supposed to be doing good. This reminds us of like Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland, or we've seen a bunch of these films at this point now. This is something pretty common with the bad kids being put out in the wilderness to learn their lesson. So there's nothing. I mean, there's a kill that's lifted straight out of Friday the 13th that's been used in that franchise twice now, and it's one of the most infamous kills in the franchise. You probably know which kill I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say what it is. But it is just straight lifted right up out of there. You have another kill from freaking. I can go down the list. Silent Night, Deadly Night. You know, I could just go down the list of every one of these kills in this film. But that being said, does it matter if they're done well? I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, as long as they're done really well, it doesn't matter. But if they're done poorly, then yeah, it matters. And with this one, I think they're done pretty. They're good. We'll just go with good. There wasn't a kill in this that I was like, fuck yes. You know, you got some Wrong Turn 2 kill in here. And the killers themselves, the you know, our villain here is pretty cool looking. It looks like something out of The Hills Have Eyes, or you know, the I guess I was gonna say the Barge people, but those are like a little more monstrous. This definitely looks like a mutated human with like big boils, and he's huge, big, fat, freaking, you know, Buddy from like Slaughterhouse or something. Just an enormous body with a bunch of like boils, and they're fucking gnarly looking characters. So yeah, I like that. Their backstory, I don't know. Are we trying to be sad for them? I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it works or not. It's whatever. It's just there to have story, and it's not necessary. But yeah, there's not a single thing in this film we haven't seen before. Not a kill, not a joke, you know, nothing. So, but, I mean, at the end of the day, for slasher fans, I think this is a worthwhile watch. You get what you want out of it. You get a pretty cool killer. You get a good final girl. You get some pretty good kills and gore. You get some great tits and sex. I mean, that's what we always ask for, right? So, there you go. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch for slasher fans. Anyone who's not a slasher fan Anybody's gonna be like, oh, this is predictable and this and that. It's a fucking slasher movie. Of course it's predictable. But yeah, I enjoyed it. This was gonna be my slasher Sunday, but it's past Sunday at this point. And I didn't take notes, but yeah, I'm obviously skipping slasher Sunday and probably Monster Monday this week. But I watched so much shit, and obviously was busy with the kids for Halloween. So next week for sure. But yeah, anyways, I gotta get to bed. It's 3:30 in the morning. Let me know if you watch it. It's on Netflix. Adios.